Hello ADJ100 class. I wanted to shoot this video and speak briefly about chapters 10, 11, and 12 and also your upcoming special assignment. In chapters 10, 11, and 12 they address the court system and how an individual accused of a crime would deal with the court system. And what you see is it happens in several different phases. The first phase of the court system would be pre-trial. That would be an individual is arrested and brought before a magistrate, where a law enforcement officer would try to convey probable cause to a magistrate. And once that's established, the magistrate may hold a bond hearing and decide whether or not to hold an individual in jail until they can appear before a judge, which will typically happen over the course of the next 48 to 72 hours. And both the magistrate and the judge will be typically looking at the same thing to try to determine if an individual can be afforded bond. And those things would typically be the severity of the crime, also the individual's criminal history. Also during these hearings, the judge will typically appoint an attorney to any individual that is indigent or can't afford attorney or doesn't want to employ their own personal attorney. Next, we'll move on to the preliminary hearing process, and that's where the court's going to hear evidence from both the prosecution and the defense and try to establish if a crime did occur. And ultimately, if the individual is found guilty, we move into the disposition phase or adjudication phase, where an individual is sentenced by the judge. So keep those three phases in mind as you read through the material for chapters 10, 11, and 12. The discussion board question, and just as in the previous modules, there are going to be two grades. There's going to be a discussion board grade and also a test grade. So for each module, 2 grades. The discussion board question deals with the plain view doctrine. It's a very prevalent doctrine in law enforcement. So I think a quick search of the internet or preferably use your textbook will reveal to you what the plain view doctrine is. However, there have been numerous cases throughout the court's legal history that have altered the plain view doctrine, and the plain view doctrine and how law enforcement officers have had to necessarily enforce and interpret the plain view doctrine has changed several times over the course of the past decade. So take that into mind, and if you're going to use the internet to find sources, I would recommend that you only use scholarly sources in your work. Lastly, I wanted to talk about the special assignment. And the special assignment is what would be your dream job inside the criminal justice system. And that's something that I would like for you to take into account. Really think about what your strengths and your weaknesses are and what it is that you would like to do over the course of the next 30 or 40 years of your life. As always, make sure that you write your paper in APA format. That's to include a title page and a works cited page, and make sure that your work has a minimum number of 500 words. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me by email, through text, or just give me a call, whichever mode of communication works best for you. I look forward to grading all of your assignments, and if you need anything, again, don't hesitate to contact me. Thank you.